Hello everyone, this is the LEGO DREAMZzz Mr. Oz's space car set with 350 pieces. This cost me $30 US, but hold on just a second. This is not the whole thing. Look at this picture. Look at this picture. It's not the same thing, right? The DREAMZzz sets are always done in 3 parts. So you've got the two main build options with just the parts included in one set. You can choose either this or this, but before you get there, there's an intermediate step. So I'm going to first show you the intermediate step for just a basic car before we then go ahead and upgrade it, and I'll show you both of these versions in this same video. As you see, this is an 8-stud wide car, so it's like the modern Speed Champions, but it's not nearly as complex, just in how it's built and how many details it has. They put more pieces into other things, like all the stuff that gets added on. But this is the first step. So if you just go into the build, you do the figures, you create the first thing that you can play with, this is it. And it's a perfectly fine car. It's really down on detail. I like the exhaust here. That's done nicely. The lights, kind of cut in there nicely enough. A little bit of suggestion of detail here, but not enough. That sticker, unfortunately, has a really bad color match. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's really not good. The lights across the front are pretty simplistic, but also pretty good. And I like a lot of the angles of this. I wish the wheels weren't so far out. I think it would have looked a little bit cooler if they were underneath, but that's just a personal opinion. And I feel like this black line right here, this little section of black, could have used a little bit of angle, could have been used a little bit of shaping or something. But again, this is just an intermediate step. The windscreen is way more opaque than I thought. It's not fully opaque, but I thought it was going to let more light through. I thought it was going to allow you to see details inside better than it does. And part of that is because of what they do with their images for their box art. It shows it being more transparent than it actually is. But that's okay. This is what it is. I like the color. You see some mold or flow marks in there. And the interior is super, super simple. It has space for one figure to sit in there, and there's a steering wheel. And that's just it. All right, let's go ahead and upgrade this. Wow, that is a significant upgrade, and it's easy to put it together. I'd already done these sub-assemblies. So you just take off the wheels, and the wheels then get attached together to create the engines for this miniature shuttle, which you have to ride on top of. You can't go inside of it. This uses a sticker there, a sticker there. But these are additional pieces that were included in the set. These are suggestions of landing gear, front and rear. Yeah, you got a little rocket exhaust back there, but that's that. They put one figure on there. And yeah, it's just one extra thing. You get a turret here, and the turret can turn from side to side. It does not, unfortunately, go up and down. You can also change the angles of these a little bit, but I wish that you could angle these forward and back, but they just don't have that range of motion there. But this does rotate around 360 degrees. Unfortunately, there's no real suspension action here, but there's a little bit of flex. So there's you can kind of make it go over stuff in a way. I like the use of the white plastic wheels here. Makes it feel very, very classic spacey, classic realistic spacey, And over here you got a little transceiver dish and a small arm, which doesn't really do much, but you can put something in that hand there. It's just a regular clip, goes up and down. Again, does not turn from side to side, so one axis only. But yeah, this is a thing. This is worthy, and this is something that as a kid I would love to upgrade a basic car into. And this does now hold 2 people, which is good. I mean, technically, before you could, sorry about that. That wasn't supposed to happen. I guess you could have a person seated there then, but before, when it was like this, technically you could put somebody back here as well. But it's just not interior, even though it's a large vehicle. But as designed now, this will properly have 2 people operating different parts of it. I think that's cool. And now I feel like this gives you a little bit of thrust as well. If you're on a low gravity moon or planet or planetoid, I can just imagine this giving you a little bit of boost. So when you go over a bump or a small hill and you go, and you just keep floating for a while. This just feels fun to me. It's also surprisingly lightweight. It makes me want to have it jumping. It's so light for the size of it that it almost feels like it's in a low grav environment right now. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's check out the other option, which does require taking all this other stuff apart and putting it together differently using the included instructions though. Well, right off the bat with this conversion, I can tell you one thing I'm very happy with, and that's the use of pieces. So both of the add-on conversions to the car use up almost all of the pieces in the entire set. I believe that this is technically considered the A model. Actually, I don't even know because it really looks like they both leave just a tiny little handful of really small connectors and stuff. And that, I suppose, helps to make this make some sense. Does this really count as a side build? Because it shouldn't. It's 4 wheels with a seat, so you can put a minifigure there. Is the intent? They want you to put this guy there, or you can put this guy there. You can either stand up, or you can have him sitting, and it can be either this way or this way. But there's not even a suggestion of controls. Surely they should have included, I don't know, a couple of antenna pieces or something to have a suggestion of controls just coming off the side. That's it. And then I would be okay with it. But as it is, it's weird. But it's a thing. It counts according to them. Full-on flight mode space car definitely counts though. This is done nicely. I like the integration of the shooters here. Of course, you don't need to use them if you're worried about losing half of those studs the first time that you shoot it. But you can, and at the very least, it's the thought that counts. And it's not too difficult to avoid accidentally turning this and shooting some of them off. And the use of these pieces back here, the wheels, the fact that they spin is a little bit awkward maybe, but I don't know. Maybe you even see that as some sort of space turbine going on. I don't know. I just think that it looks pretty respectable. And I'm happy with that. This is an unexpected little treat. You can change the angles of these little winglets here. These do use obviously most of the parts from the miniature space shuttle scooter thing, but not exactly the same. So you do rebuild there. And then the turret is just set up differently here. It's got the little communications dish on the side. I suppose you could turn this around too, huh? If you wanted this to be able to angle up. It can still angle out like that, but then it can angle up more. I don't know, it's just up to you. And then they have a suggestion of something that's basically inspired by a Canadarm right here. And that's got some great range on it. Look at that. It also is able to angle in and out here. It's too bad it's not able to rotate around within its own axis. That would have been extra useful, but the whole thing spins. So this can actually reach down to the ground beside the craft, when it's on the ground. It can reach all the way to the ground and out of a decent distance, so that's good, and it's easy to use it, and it's not it's not clumsy, it's not frustrating to use. Yeah, definitely works for me. Don't think there's anything else that I really would have wanted to see here. I suppose if you could do some major transformation, it would be nice. Maybe there's some extra range of motion here to allow these to go completely vertical and become more of a launching stand. But as it is, you can do this. Oh, yeah, there we go. That counts. It's leaning back. It's leaning back a little bit in order to make that work. Felt like it was a little bit easier when I did it before, but yeah, it works. It works well enough for the suggestion of vertical takeoff. I'm just thinking of it, from the maximal play possibility perspective. But all in all, I'm happy with this. And again, I'm especially happy with the fact that it uses up almost every piece, although in order to do that, the side build is funky at best. Speaking of funky, this little nightmare winged thing definitely has some Bomar Monk kind of vibes going on with it for my Star Wars fans out there, although you probably want to swap this underneath, but you kind of get it there. And of course, each of these legs is able to be articulated in or out, although when you do that, you're going to find that, it doesn't really want to have a 3-legged stance unless you have it leaning back. You just got to kind of find the way. There we go. Something like that. And then these are able to flap forward and backward. You could alternately rotate these the way that they're built so that they will flap up and down. That's up to you. The nice little brain minifig head piece there will definitely be useful. If you don't want to use it for this, it will definitely be useful for other things, for other alien and sci-fi and horror types of builds and things. And the eye is perfectly fine. There's a spare of that included because of its size, and you can also flatten this down. So if you prefer to have more of this spider-like kind of arrangement for it, just a different way of looking at the same thing and easier to pose to. And finally, here are the minifigures. Here's Mr. Oz himself. Really nice hairpiece for that, and lots of gold, obviously. This is Albert, the space monkey, in the middle. And on the right is Jaden with the dental device, trying to be saved from their own nightmare. Nice torso for that one as well. Very useful dome headgear piece here. That, yeah, it's been around for a minute now. A lot of Iron Man sort of inspiration, and taking some of this stuff off. Even more Iron Man right there, for sure. I could see that piece being used for some customs. And you do get an alternate face for Jaden to show the full sleep mode. Probably grinding teeth just a little bit, going through that struggle of being in a nightmare. This is the size and configuration of the sticker sheet, and I'm not going to show you the leftover pieces because leftover parts vary depending upon which version of the car or rover or spaceship thing that you build, and that would just get confusing. Overall, this feels to me like a very successful set design, and for $30 US, 30 euros, 25 pounds UK, or $40 Canadian, the value seems reasonable here. Wouldn't mind if it was ever so slightly cheaper, but in 2024, I really don't think that I could reasonably ask for this much stuff. And this much usable stuff too. It's not just, throwing pieces at you. It's not just a mass of plastic. With the exception of this particular build right here, which does have its value, but really needs to be added to just a little bit. The stuff that's here is good, and having those different options, I think, is nice. I think the integration is slick and sleek. It doesn't take too long to convert between the different forms just because of the limited total number of pieces here. I think for like the bigger sets, like when I did the shark ship, it took a long time to convert from one to the next. I feel like this is just much more enjoyable to have a total conversion of what you're actually dealing with and playing with and displaying. Like I said, in just a short amount of time, there's value to that. So overall, yeah, I'm happy with this. Just really wish that they would get their sticker game in order. Their sticker game and also their print game. But thankfully, the prints in this one seem to be just fine. Overall, happy with it though. And I think the value is decent. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.